extend a very warm welcome to all the participants, faculty members, students, and industry professionals to this national level webinar series on regulatory affairs. We are truly delighted to share that more than 150 plus participants from across India, including representatives from pharmaceutical industries, academic institutions, and research organizations, have registered for this webinar series. This series brings together nine eminent speakers and stalwarts from the pharmaceutical industry who will be sharing their valuable insights, experiences, and real world perspectives. The webinar series will be conducted every Saturday starting from 18th April until 13th June 2026, offering a structured and continuous learning experience for all the participants. Before we begin with the session, I would like to share a few important instructions with all the participants. We kindly request all participants to keep themselves muted and switch off their cameras throughout the session to ensure smooth and uninterrupted proceedings. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat box. All queries will be addressed during the question and answer session at the end. We would also like to inform you that a mandatory group photograph will be taken at the end of the session. So, we request your cooperation for the same. Additionally, the feedback form link and the quiz link will be shared in the WhatsApp group after each session. Participants are requested to complete these as they are essential for certification process. With these instructions in place, let us now briefly understand the significance of regulatory affairs in the pharmaceutical sector. Regulatory affairs plays a pivotal role in ensuring that medicines reaching patients are not only effective but also safe, reliable, and of the highest quality standards. It serves as a critical link between the pharmaceutical industry and regulatory authorities, ensuring that every stage of drug development, from research and clinical trials to approval and post marketing, is conducted in strict accordance with national and international regulations, ethical guidelines, and quality frameworks. In today's rapidly evolving healthcare ecosystem, where innovations are emerging at an unprecedented pace, regulatory professionals are no longer limited to being compliance monitors. Instead, they act as a strategic partners in drug development, contributing to decision making, processes, risk management, and ensuring faster yet compliant access of therapies to patients. This national level webinar series on regulatory affairs has been thoughtfully curated to provide a comprehensive learning platform that goes beyond textbooks and theoretical knowledge to provide real world insights into regulatory practices, bridge the gap between academics and industry expectations, help students and professionals understand practical challenges and compliance requirements, enhance knowledge about global guidelines like ICH-GCP and regulatory documentation. So, with this perspective in mind, it is now an honor to invite our esteemed leadership to share their thoughts and inspire this gathering. I take privilege in inviting Dr. Neeraj Vivaris, sir, Principal of Dr. Patil College of Pharmacy, Akurdi, and the convener of this webinar series to kindly join us on this virtual platform and deliver the inaugural address. Sir, can I request Dr. Vivaris, sir, to please come here? Okay, I guess there's some issue with him. So let's
Just 5 minutes, Shubhangi. He's trying to join. The number is very high, so he's just thrown out of the meeting. I'll
yes, sure.
just
No
find out
worries,
some
ma'am. In the
solution.
meantime, I'll just continue further. Once he is there, just let me know. Yeah. So we are confident that this initiative will empower participants with both theoretical and practical exposure. Let me now take the privilege to introduce our first speaker of the series, Dr. Namit Anant Kamble, sir. Dr. Kamble is currently working as a clinical research associate at Seniors Health. He brings with him rich experience in clinical research, having previously worked with reputed organizations such as Sun Pharma, Cyroclin Pharm, Biosphere Clinical Research, and Health Minds Consulting. He holds a Doctor of Pharmacy from KLE College of Pharmacy, Belgavi, and is currently pursuing an MBA, reflecting his commitment to continuous learning. Dr. Kamble has worked across multiple clinical trials in diverse therapeutic areas, including oncology, asthma, COVID 19, neurology, and more. His expertise includes clinical trial monitoring and site management, regulatory documentation and compliance, protocol development and data review, handling systems like Viva Vault, TMF, Medidata, and CTMS platforms. With extensive field experience, including numerous site visits and monitoring activities, he brings strong practical insights from the clinical research domain. So, before we proceed further, it is our pleasure to extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to Dr. Kamble. I request our organizing team to kindly present a virtual bouquet as a token of our respect and appreciation. So, we would like to welcome Sir on this particular webinar series, the very first speaker for this webinar series. Welcome on board.
Thank you, Shubhangi, for a very brief introduction about me and about the session. Hope I'm audible, right?
Yeah, you are audible, sir. So, we'll be starting with your session, sir. Just give
Yeah,
some time.
thank you for the confirmation.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Yeah, no worries, no
Yeah,
worries. I will wait.
okay. So, Dr. Kamble, we are truly honored to have you with us today. So, I would like to mention one thing to the audience that today's session is going to focus on deviation, change control, and CAPA, that is real industry scenarios. This session will provide practical insights into deviation management, change control, and CAPA, along with guidance on effective audit documentation and an overview of ICH-GCP E6 updates with real world implementation. This topic is extremely important as it highlights how real world challenges are managed in clinical research while maintaining the regulatory compliance and quality standards. So, we'll be starting with our session. Just wanted to confirm whether Dr. Vivaris, sir, you are available here in the meeting?
Yes, I am available.
Yes, sir. So, can I
I think it is too late already. We are running late. Please start the continue the session.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you so much. So, without taking much of everyone's time, I would like to invite Dr. Namit Kamre, sir, to deliver his insightful session. So, the virtual platform is all yours. I would request you to kindly start with the session.
Thank you, Shubhangi.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vivare, sir, for this opportunity. And I would like to start. It is mandatory. Should I keep my video on or can I off my video?
So, it will be good if you can start your video, but depends if you're as per your comfort level, we can go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
No issues. No issues. Please let me know if my screen is visible.
Sure, sir. Yes, sir. Your screen is visible. The
Yeah.
PPT is yet to start.
We will.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can see the
So
PPT.
now
Please.
can you just? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Please start.
So as per the topic, like my first topic will be on ICH-GCP E6R2 updates and real world implementation. So this is an official website of ICH-GCP, like from where we means you all will be means there are like PGs and some are from industry background also and the faculty members. So this is how the ICH-GCP means ICH website looks. So you can just this is actually which I took snap from the website ich.org. So here I will not go in that depth about what is ICH-GCP. So I will just emphasize like the history, like it is an international council for harmonization, formerly the International Conference on Harmonization. So both are same, but this might be one of the questions which are generally were asked in the MCQs when we were in our bachelor's, and so this was like so now currently it is International Council for Harmonization. and it was previously International Conference on Harmonization. So actually, it was held like to inaugurate the assembly meeting in it. It has occurred in 23 October 2020, 2015. So the main motto was like means 25 years back for the smooth conduct of this uh, trials and regulatory affairs in all throughout the globe. So that was the main reason which the ICH came into existence. And you all are more experts, like because I had left my academics back long back, so now I have more in my practical knowledge. I will provide you more practical knowledge and industrial based knowledge from this session. So coming to next, that sections in the ICH-GCP which QSEM. So I will go in my previous slide. So over here you can see QSEM. So if you click on every aspect like Q, what stands, and you will get in different segments from it, which you can segregate and you can. Hello, sorry, somebody's unmuted.
No, sir, there was an
My
issue.
bad.
You can please continue.
No issues. Oh, so sorry. So these are like just I'm giving the glance, so which I thought it is important for all of you to have the understanding what sections does the ICH website and the ICH consist of, like QSEM. So quality guidelines consist of Q1A to Q14. Safety guidelines which include S1A to S13. Efficacy guidelines include E1 to E23, and one of my favorite topic which I'm covering today, that is E6, good clinical practices, and M stands for multidisciplinary guidelines, which covers like M1 to M18. So coming like what is ICH? ICH E6 and why it matters. So the International Council for Harmonization for technical requirements of pharmaceutical for human use. The international body brings like together the regulatory authorities. Means the main motto is like whatever the regulatory authorities all over the globe we have. So which consists of FDA, that is United States regulatory body, then Europe EMA. We generally tell European Union's regulatory body is EMA. Japan, Canada, Switzerland. We also have our DCGI involved in that to develop harmonized guideline for drug development approval. Like whenever the drug are getting processed and from one country to another, we have to get the specific country level approvals. So that's why to be on the uniformity, so this ICH platform was developed, and to be and to like conduct resource recording clinical trials involving human participants. So as you know that in India we have NDCT 2019 rules. Firstly, it was Schedule 19 before 2019. So after that NDCT rules, and there is again a amendment for NDCT 2026. So if you want to be in a regulatory affairs in India, so you have to like mug up the NDCT rules 2019 and 2026. So that will be a bible for you. It will give you a clear evidence like what documents, what forms are there, and what you should be using that as an. And ultimately, like if you read those things, so it will be a backup for you. But ultimately every industry or every company has its own SOPs. So according to that we develop the SOPs, and we present it to the DCGI or the SEC committee, that is Scientific Expert Committee. So again I just diverted and I'm bringing you back, like coming to ICH GCP. So ICH E6, for uniformity of the trials in all over the globe. So that's why ICH E6 was in the picture. So significance of EC guideline cannot be overstated. When FDA, that is FDA stands for US regulatory authorities. So accepts clinical trial data as part of new drug application. It expects that the data were generated in compliance with GCP. So GCP again stands for good clinical practices, and the principle consists with E6. So E6 is one of the section in the efficacy guidelines. This global harmonization means the clinical trial conducted in the United States under EC compliant GCP can generate data accepted, means whatever the data which they will be sharing. So it is accepted in European Unions, Japan's, and other regions. And essential features of the modern multinational drug industry. So as industry is going so drastically fast, the pharmaceutical industries, where in the clinical domain we are using lot many softwares, so that comparisons are also there in further slides, like what exactly it consists and how what were the major changes which had occurred in E6 guidelines. So why a complete reason was needed? So the original E6 was published in 1996. When, like, now we in the industry, but currently I am also handling, as Ms. Shubhangi mentioned it, that I'm working on EDC, that is electronic data capture. So that time in 1996, like industry was fully on paper based. Like one of my manager used to tell me, like, Namit, we used to share the letters to the investigators. The investigators are who conduct the studies, as you will be aware. So they used to share the confirmation letters via post. So they had only the paper formats, where like how the bills are generated. We have to keep the carbon copies, and we used to tell the sites to write it. So that was the era in 1996. So it was like, means there were very lacunas in that, because we were not using the smartphones, and as the industry was growing, we were innovating. So we wanted to change the scenarios. So after 1996, there was an 2026 update, like E6 R2 addendum, address some of the research, like some of these gaps, introducing risk-based monitorings, that is RBM. So this is one of the most important aspect when you join the industry. They will emphasize, okay, if means you get experience, and it should be always good that you should work on risk-based monitorings. So this is an upcoming and very challenging field right now. So I know, like electronic records, but it did not did so adding like text the existing. I mean, that 2016 was again like 1996. We didn't had the electronic records. We didn't had the systems that developed. After 1926, we had the systems, and after that we were coming, like they were addressing the gaps. Okay, what lacunas are there, we are just filling it. And after that, R2 is there. But now again we came by the time in 2019, E6 R2 is been followed throughout the globe. Like it is an expert working group began in work in 2019, and we are following that currently. So E6 R2 framework is not designed for any of this who are attempting to apply it. This new designs creating uncertainty, inconsistency, or unnecessary compliance burden. So like like when we get in our comfort zone, so we feel, okay, why they are doing this, like why there is a new amendment coming. But I like tell you frankly, like change is constant, and it is very true that change should be there. So that's why the amendments are taking places in E6. So coming to like global implementation timelines. So in 2019, so they started to develop E6 R2, and in like this is how they final, like means it is going in January 6 2026, ICH formally adopted E6R3. So if you go on any of the portals or websites, and if you want to get trained for free, so there are some portals which give you free certifications, and it is very mandatory for if you are in a clinical trials, you need to attend a ICH-GCP workshop. You should have that certificate, and you should, or if you're not having that workshop, then you should have completed ICH-GCP paid or unpaid trainings on E6R2. So it is a industrial requirement currently. So it was implemented, like formally adopted in Jan 2025. So in June 11, 2025, E6R2 ceased to be in force, like transition period ended. So currently they are telling, okay, now we will not follow like E6R2. Then in July 2025, like EMA, European Union legally effective on new clinical trials, they implemented it. In 15th August 2025, Switzerland implemented it. In September 25, FDA published a final guidelines in the federal register. Then, so about this, in 2026, check SOCRA. So these are some global courses which are given for if you are being in an industry and you want to be a clinical research associate. This is just a certification globally. So ACR, like Association of Clinical Research Professionals. So that stands for ACRP directly for current exam content online updates. So they are included in their patterns. So we generally we include, like, the changes are there. So we implement in the academics. So they also train on these certifications and they implemented in 2026. So in Jan 1226, UK released annotations with E6R2, and in 2026 ongoing, like in draft and under public consultation. So now currently we are following E6R3, and the E6R2 has been seized, and it is the base, but there what changes are there, I will tell you in the next slide. So like the document, like this is what consists of E6R2 2016 and E6R2 2025. So document structure, like single integrated document was there in 2016 guidelines. It was the principal plus annexure 1. So if you go through the draft of directly on that, I told you on ICH-GCP website, you can file this or just you can type it ICH-GCP guidelines E6R3. You can download a very nice PDF, and you can go through this annexure 1 and annexure 2, like non-traditional that are in the draft. So quality management, like risk RBM they were introduced like primarily only sponsor faced. So pharmaceutical industries are again like have multiple domains, like like the drug development process. So where like first we do the preclinical studies, and after that we know the dose and whether it is animal studies are approved by the any regulatory authority. Then it is going ahead for phase humans trials. From phase 0 is preclinical, and phase 1 to phase 4 are clinical studies. So in that they introduce this, like firstly the RBM, like RBM, it was only there, but they were not in that favor. To it was only sponsor focused. And about the CRO, like the CRO concept is contract research organization or clinical research organization. So in which like we generally the sponsors like Sun Pharma, Novo Nordisk, or any Cipla, Sanofi, generally they will have the new drug with them, or upcoming out patent like orange drug, uh, orange file in that. After that, it will be like after that they will conduct the trial in India or any of the body. So in that it have to come to CRO. So they award the drug that okay, on we are unable to conduct that trial. So on behalf of that particular sponsor, please conduct the study and share us the data. So that is the CRO. CRO actually is a third party which has every idea about the drug, but they have to report to the sponsor for any of the aspect, for any of the escalations, for any of the deviations and everything. So that is this I told you about sponsors difference and what is a sponsor and what is a CRO. So coming back again, I have to pull you back. So it is key chances at glance about A6R2 and A6R3. So QBD, so quality by design, was not explicitly required, but it is must be designed into trial prospective, not inspected in retrospectively. So critical to quantify quality, critical to quality, QTC, concept not formalized, QTC factor must be identified prospectively during trial planning. So remote monitoring, it is like generally, like how it is. Just to give a out of the box idea, generally what I do. So the remote monitoring is like it came effective when after the it was implemented. It was not that regressive, but after COVID, when the whole world was shut, but we wanted to conduct the trials, and due to the we can't travel, and so we had some limitations, but the data can't be seen whatever the sites are practicing or the pi is doing, so we have to do it remotely. So that system like addressed by secondary on site, but it was that they used to tell, okay, if it is you can't go online on site, then you do it. But here it is like now they had made so advancement, like currently, which also I am means going through. Like there are two teams which I go on site, and there is a centralized team, so which they check our data before we go for monitoring, and they give us the scan reports. Means we term that SCAN. So that scan reports, they share it with the CRAs. Okay, so these are the lacunas from the system which you need to be fulfilled when you go on monitoring visits. Like if there are any documentation pending, so that you need to update. If there are some trainings which are allocated in particular system, that you should get it. And if there are any open action items, because in clinical trial the first line is like if it is not documented, it is not done in clinical trials in regulatory. So you can't tell it, okay, verbally, okay, I had done it, or the auditor or anybody, or I will also ask my site team, okay, if you have done it, then show me the evidence that it should be written. If they are contacting the patient or whatever communication they are having between them, they should document if that is very crucial. So that comes under this centralized and remote monitoring aspects, which we check on site and recognize as an equal valid approach. So that we have to do it. We are doing it currently. It is implemented in like last year itself, and we are following that. So data governance, no dedicated sections, new dedicated sections covered like life cycle, electronic health systems, electronic health records. So generally, it is like our government hospitals are very, it is very rare and it is very challenging in India to have the electronic health records. But the scenario, if you see in the developed countries like US, so there they have everything on electronic health records. So it is everything captured in the system itself. And in best example, if you want, it means it is not feasible like I'm telling, but if you want to have in India, so there is a Tata Memorial Hospital in Mumbai. So that they practice, that is a whole soul oncology hospital, and they practice the EHR, like electronic health records. So whenever the patient comes and whenever the patient goes out, so everything is recorded in the system. And as a CRA, I need to check the system to verify my source. So that's this new means this is also covered in E6R2. The source data is like whatever, like means if they are writing on the blank paper, then study coordinators who are in contact with the investigators and with the patients, so they can write the sources in any of their format designed or not. But it should be signed. So over here, like data source, traditional source document, electronic paper centric language was there. It is still in India, we follow it, because here they had given like additionally to paper we can use EHRs, but generally over here like source data can be originated in any form. As I told you, like EHR, variable, patient recorded, the lab reports are there, then validation proportionates to risk are there. So that is also required for now we can use that. So one of the most important aspect in clinical industry is informed consent. As we do, I think so, if you're aware, if you've done any animal studies, so we need to get the animal animal ethics committee we have, and we have to get the approval. But those are animals we are doing for the human sake, for our benefit. So we have to sacrifice those animals. But over here, like, we are giving the drugs to the actual patients. So in that concept, we have to tell them everything. The investigator has have to tell each and every segment, like how many duration the trial will be there, how much your blood will be withdrawn, how much, like, who will be the primary contact if you have any adverse event, so whom should be contacted, and the ethics committee contact numbers. If they feel okay, they are not feel, means there are like they feel sometimes the patient may feel he don't want to participate or something, so he has the ethical rights. As per E6R2, they can withdraw their consents. So consents are very crucial in clinical research industries. So again, like, consents as a documented event, consents as an ongoing dialogue, e-consent explanatory addressed and supported. So generally, it is like many of the sponsors and the CROs have practiced like audio video consenting. Means they will write there will be a 45 minutes, or they will give the camera. We have to record all the process what they're documenting and what they're signing it. And what I had practiced, that is only the paper. Like, they will just sign in on the papers with their evidences, and they will give the consent if they are agreed. And that narrative should be written by investigator or by the site team. So again, these changes are there, like consent as a documented evidence and consent as ongoing dialogue, e-consent, explanatory address, and supported. So investigated delegations, like delegations. So delegations, it is like, uh, in clinical trials, generally, if you're not delegated to do that task, so that will be a protocol deviation. For example, like, I am a pharmacist, and I can't withdraw the blood, and there are some numbers given, like, okay, 32 is for lab sample collection, and inadvertently my CRA has given me 32. But I am not that professional. I don't hold a medical degree, I don't hold a nursing degree, or I don't hold a DMLT degree. So it will be a deviation. So again, the monitor will train me and the site team and the PI. Okay, there was incorrect delegation given. Again, it should be corrected on the live date, current date. So this, like, deviation documents were well defined, like clarified, where activities are routine clinical care, formal delegation documented may not be required. Delegation documentations may not be required. So this, like, routine clinical care, so this should be formalized and they should be in the delegation log. Decentralized trials, like, not addressed, then addressed in annexure 2, which is still in draft, and telemedication, home IP delivery, and remote SDV. So these are again, like, are in the draft. So they are planning, like, some patients are in the are they can't afford to come in the hospitals due to frequent visits. So that's why they are developing this, like, telemedication should be there, then home IP delivery should be there. So that is one future aspect again. The technology, like limited guidelines on electronic systems, variable e-consent, electronic health records, and digital health technologies, and explanatory addressed. So everything is explained for technology over here. You can, as Shubhangi told, like, you can place your questions in the chat box. I will address it whenever, like, by end of this presentation. So coming to next, so again, that was just the changes. So what are the, again, top 5 critical updates in E6R2? I thought those are crucial for all of you to know. So that's why I mentioned it. So as in quality management, QM, sponsor must implement a risk-based system. That is, I told you, risk-based monitoring system throughout the clinical trials. So sponsor insight, explicit clarification about ultimate responsibility for trials. Like, quality remains with the sponsor regardless of CRO delegations. So everything, like, CRO is there, but still it is a sponsor responsibility. Next slide, please. Then risk-based monitoring, replacing grade 100% on on-site monitoring with flexible, centralized, and off-site strategies. So that I will explain you in further slides. Then data integrity, formal emphasis on Alcoa++. So this is Alcoa is a GDP. It is good documentation practices. So in clinical trials, it is like uh, I will tell you in that particular slide what Alcoa actually stands for, and how it is like uh, how it should be implemented. Then vendor governance, like you know that a clinical trial is not depending on okay we are awarding to a particular CRO they will conduct for us, but that consists n number of systems, the lab, again the EDC electronic data capture forms. Then there will be a safety, like if you have AEs or SAEs, then that's investigator should be aware okay those are occurring in the globe, so that should be recorded in one of the system. So I can tell you like there will be more than 10 plus systems in a one clinical trial, and like around 100 plus dedicated employees who work for that success of that trial, except the patients, only the team involved will be more than 100 plus. So coming to update one, quality management deep dive, section five, proactive stance, like definition a system to manage quality across all stage of trial process, focusing on CTQ factors like critical to quality. Like critical, everything is crucial in clinical trials and it should be focused. So QTC factors are proactively there. So which is in the section 5. Then after the key processes like identify critical data and process essential to subject protection and reliability. Then access, who can access it, risk based or likelihood, detectability and impact we should govern. Then control, reduce the risk of an acceptable level, like tolerance licks. You know that okay now that drug in you got an when the trial started, so we generally we do it on phase 1 and there we use healthy volunteers. So when it's come to phase 2, so there are actual patients. So we know the actually now what is the strength, but how that drug will act on that particular patient, so that might be a concern. So that we have to check it out, like how much tolerable, like whatever the adverse events or serious adverse events are there. So I these terms will be little bit weird for you because I am using a wholesale industrial base terminologies right now. So communicate and review. So it is like you know like in clinical trials you can't take decisions on your own. So you have to inform your managers, or means I have to inform whatever is happening. I instruct the site team and the PIs. Okay, if you are facing anything, because those subjects are governed by the sponsor. Because as we sign the PI signs the confidence CDA, confidentiality disclosure agreement. So the patients, whichever he will be enrolling in the study, are directly of the sponsors. So that's why that documentation and everything should be throughout, like it should be adopted and it should be documented throughout, and sponsor can access it anytime. So that communication and review should be always there. So for the review purpose, I be on the site, like on-site monitorings. So update to sponsor oversight and ultimate responsibility. So it is a non-negotiable accountability. So it has never occurred in the history, but still, like again, they are emphasizing okay, whatever is happening, so it should be a sponsor's oversight and utility responsibility. Like rule, a sponsor may be transfer trial related duties to a service provider, or ultimate responsibility for data quality and integrity always reside with the sponsor. Whatever they are telling, we have to agree it. And means they are doing it for the trial purpose, for safety purpose, so that we should understand it. So implementation strategies, pre-selection audits, the rigorous qualifications of CRO or vendors should be there. Then written agreements, clearly defines role, responsibilities, and communication pathways. Then active governance, quarterly review meetings and perform metrics review. No passive acceptance of reports. Everything should be documented in the systems. Okay. Again, third, risk-based monitoring. So, so this is like right seizing oversight. Old model 100% on-site and 100% source data verification. So I will just take time and I will just explain you what this means. So on-site monitoring means when you are a position holding in a CRO or at a sponsor level as a CRA, that is clinical research associate. So you have to travel like as per the trial requirement in a month, means as per my profile, as per my designation, and my organization has given in my appointment letter that I should travel 80% in a month. Means like yesterday only I came from Jaipur, and today I'm over here presenting you the session. So we have to maximum times we have to be out of our homes. So there will be like pan India, we have to travel wherever the sites are, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Assam till Gujarat. All the sites are there. So it looks very good, like like okay, we have the CRS tend to travel a lot, but even initially you will enjoy it, and afterwards you have to be, you should enjoy that, and you should also focus on the what role and why you are going on site. So that is very crucial. So over here, like coming again, I'm pulling back old model 100% site monitoring, so which I'm going now. So I'm going over there, I will check what activities they are doing it. Are there randomizing the process, the patient as per the protocol, or they are violating the protocol, or there any deviations, or have they missed any laboratory lab investigations. So that we do it on site. And firstly it was like, if there are like for example, I have to check like ICF, I have to check, then I have to check the labs, I have to check. So they used to tell it should be 100%. And but in RBM model it is not like a mixed model. Like as I explained you, there is a centralized monitoring team which they generally give us. Okay, this means from 100 pages of ADC, okay, 90 you had verified it, 10 you can review it after your the confirmation from the lab. We do mean it can be pending due to lab reports, so that the data should be verified on next monitoring. So remote monitoring, if that is a need. So okay, the sometimes there are some sort of budget issues with the sponsor. So one, like if you consider about traveling to flight and everything, so sometimes the sponsor tell, okay, for initial visits you go, and afterwards for routine visits you can conduct a remote monitoring. So that has given a flexibility for us, for sponsor also, to save their money, and reduce target on site based on risk profile. So generally what that this risk also imply, the war situations are going on. But still, if there is a one clinical trial manager from Ukraine, the Ukraine and Russia war is still going on, but she is still working. So we get the notifications, okay, like some of the CRAs will be conducting the remote IMV because of the war situation in that particular area. So that the sponsor agrees on it and they tell it, okay, you can do it. So these are the risk profiles: war situations, COVID pandemic, any pandemic, a lockdown. So these are the risk profiles. Then implementation strategies, like centralized use data analysis to identify anomalies, like example high screen failure rates, or employs data trends. Trigger visits, on-site visits only targeted by data signals and quality tolerance limit breach. So this is very crucial. After that, yeah, I told you, like I wanted to explain you regarding the Alcoa. So data integrity and computerized systems. So Alcoa and validation. So Alcoa stands for, A stands for attributable, legible, then contemporaneous, original, accurate, complete, consist, like plus plus. Alcoa finishes over here: complete, consistent, enduring, and available. So these are uh, Alcoa plus principles. So generally, what does that mean? So whatever the document I'm going on site, so it should be legible. Some of the handwritings are really horrible. Some of the doctors write it and we struggle it. So I have to sit with the doctor and with the site staff. Okay, what the P has written. So they are telling, no, it is as per his practice he has written it. So as per audit perspective, we have to add a note and prepared a note to file where whatever he has written, we are preparing in the column format and the justification in the clear handwriting format. So that is legible. So original. So like hospital notes like are there. So generally that belongs to the patients. OPD prescriptions. So we should have a copy of that, and it should be signed or true copied by the current investigator or the sub investigator. Like, okay, they had reviewed it and it is a correct document. So completeness. Generally, many of the you will find, okay, they will not sign it. So some of the drug or the dose is missing, frequency is missing, the name of tablet is not that correct. So that complete information is not there. So that we should focus. Okay, the complete, it should be a complete. Then consistent, like if I'm going on every month, I'm visiting a particular site, then it should be like pattern that, okay, I see the consistency. They are having like, okay, they are firstly mentioning the temperature, then the patient's weight, then the blood pressure. So it shouldn't be like, okay, they are doing it randomly. So consistency as per the protocol is required. So if you are not following, so that will again be a problem for us. Then enduring and available. So sometimes there are scenarios which I had faced, like the visit has been completed, data has been entered, but the source is not available to verify. So availability, so they will tell, okay, we completed it when it is there, so they had misplaced it, but I can't verify that document because I don't have that in my hand. So I have to tell them to, like, uh, from wherever, like where you misplaced it, search all the files and get it to me. Because out of that, if I don't have the document, means I will assume that, okay, it is not documented. In clinical trials is a very particular term. If it is not documented, it is not done. So I can directly tell them and file a PD against them that, okay, they had not done this particular test. So that is a apart thing if they are not making it available for me. After that, system validation. Like sponsor must maintain validated systems with secure trails. Then implementation strategies like audit trail review. So whenever I do a source data verification in my EDC, so they will show me the time and date when I had just marked the tick and I had verified it. So auditor or the sponsor can check, okay, Namit has gone on site on 17th of April and he has verified particular weight of that patient at so and so timing. So that is, trails are there. Then access control, like strict user permissions to prevent unauthorized data manipulations. So it is like, means now the systems are so means the privacy is so high that whenever I log into my system, I get a verification on my mail ID that I have to put the code. Okay, like somebody else is not using my access. So that they had developed, and not for me, but also for the investigator and the site staff. And it will come on your mobile phones or registered mobile numbers, so that you can share it. So this is our like major updates which I wanted to tell you about from E6R2 to E6R3. After that, like what changes they had made, like from context, so awareness, like R6 versus R3. So over here terminology shift, like subject. Now we don't tell a sub means patient as a subject, so he should be addressed as a participant. And I'm in a CRO, so whenever in the context, like if the sponsor want to tell, okay, they can't mention the term as per R3, CRO. As per R2, it was CRO. Now they should always tell as a service provider. Firstly, as source documents, we have used to tell it, but now it is mandatory that we should tell source records, including Medidata. So, Medidata is an software where we capture the like EDC, it is electronic data capture forms. So current regulatory environment requirements. So reality like many regions include parts of EU are just now fulfilling aligned with R2 standards. Horizon like R3 introduced principal annexes shifting from rigid rule books to principle based frameworks. So they are telling like we have to be very as per the principal standards or the global standards. So these terminologies and this transcriptions are being done from R2 to R3. So technology and digital healthcare, as you know that E6 R3 E6 was first introduced in 1996. So after that R2 was in 2016, and after that now currently we have that is A6 R3 2025. So for exception of standard, like R3 explicitly address the several technology categories that were either absent or inadequate covered in E6 R2. So what is electronic informed consent? So recognized as a valid approach to obtain the documented. So what generally is a electronic consent, you know? So sponsor will provide you a tablet, so in that everything will be there. So rather than maintain the paper, they will use a tablet. So it will be particularly with the site itself, but it will be linked with the global server. It will have the backups with compliant to the regulatory guidelines and CRF 22 regulations. So that will be there, and they will not like whatever questions are there, whatever signing us there, that will record the same timing. So if you mark a dot also, that will record it. Okay, the dot was present at so and so timing and so date by a participant or a investigator. Sorry. Then digital health technologies like wearable sensors, mobile health applications, and other devices collect data outside traditional clinical settings are explicitly addressed with validations requirement proportionate to risk those devices present to data reversibly. Then electronic health record, as I told you, like currently India is in the process of EHRs, but being the world's greatest population in the world, so to maintain that EHR is again a challenge. So but many of the private hospitals are doing it, and some of the government hospitals had started to do it, but to be a complete EHR will take like a decade or something, because that will be a little challenging for everybody. Then computerized systems, as I told you, like in a CRO, whenever you deal with any of the things or with the sponsor, so there are 100 plus people, including more than 10 plus systems. So those are computer systems. So required validations. So access control, like whenever I need a new project is assigned, so I need to go 7 to 8 hours of rigorous trainings, and I have to get the access. After that, that audit trails and everything, and after that trainings only they will assign me that particular system. So this is about the technology from standards like E6 R3. So real world implementation documentation, from policy to practice. So this is an upcoming thing which has evolved, like real world implementation. So they want to check what actually is happening in the world. So generally, we generally term those as an RWE studies, real world evidence studies. So it can be retrospectively or prospectively. So we just tend to check, okay, what is means why this RW studies were designed to check the prevalence, how many patients are being affected in previously or which are on currently. So it will give the sponsor good faith, okay, they can use this means they can start developing a new molecule on that particular research area. So that's why the new world implementation or new things were introduced. So clinical study reports, CSR must now include a specific section. So currently, what is CSR? So CSR is a clinical study report when the trial ends. I completed the monitorings. The data is locked. There is no new fresh recruitment. All the patients has completed all their scheduled visits. So after that, it will be a database log. After that, the sponsor has to prepare a CSR, that is clinical study report, and they have to submit it to the regulatory authorities. So in India, we submit to the DCGI. So we have to prepare that format. So that format also CSR you can find it in NDCT rules 2019. So must be included, like summarizing the significant deviations from quality tolerance limit and remedial action taken. So this is one of the thing. Deviations are there. So what actions you took? So that will be one of my next topic upcoming. So essential records like ensure the TMF. So again, TMF is an trial master file. So where we uh, record and keep all the data except patient's informed consent and the patient personal, like if as per regulatory guidelines, I shouldn't take means a document shouldn't consist of patient initials, patient's birth year and age. Age is fine, just birth year and any identifying number. So that shouldn't be there, not the initials also. Gender is fine, age is fine, and a last, like if you want to mention the year of, only year of birth can be mentioned. So this, if they are not complying, then we have to file a non-compliance and we have to generate a long report and we have to submit it. So sorry. So this ensure the TMF structure allowed for a rapid revival of oversight documentation, like CRO oversight meeting minutes and risk assessment logs. So informed consent must reflect the latest safety information on ongoing dynamic documentation, not in static one. So informed consents are very particular, as I told you. We can't compromise with the informed consent if it is if we find any of the thing which is not filled by the subject, so it will be a major non-compliance. So these are the real world practices which we generally we are implementing it in this E6R2. So stakeholders are like CROs and site roles. So investigators. So these are again common gaps. Like training must be extended beyond protocol basis to include investigator. Like site and investigator should always be trained on every aspect, like delegation tasks, managing electronic data integrations. Then CRA or monitor like shift training by tick box SDV to critical thinking and signal detection. So that is for me actually, which comes to us. Like CRA must learn the assess. You also can be like be a CRA in future. So this will be a very crucial for you all. CRA must learn to assess risk trending, not just verify data points. From data management, so focus on centralized monitoring tools and generating actionable reports for clinical operation teams. So those are like real world implementation for stakeholder trainings. So common points are there, like implementation changes from R2 driven solutions. So firstly, I think so I had covered this. I don't want to focus on this. I will just move on to the next slide. So this is very compliant. Like firstly, we had like it is still there. E6R2 compliant checklist for the sponsor, quality management approved and active, risk assessment completed by asset completed by the system and clinical level, CRO vendor oversight plan documented, centralized system validation on file, process the QTL, deviation report. Just whatever I felt, I just added it. For site and investigator, delegation log reflect current qualified staff. understanding the Alcoa, that is GDP, means good documentation practice for all source records, process for timely review and centralized monitoring queries. After that, conclusion, like quality is not an audit finding, like E6 R2 emphasizes building quality into the design, quality by design, rather than inspecting in and at the end. Like oversight is active. Relying solely on CRO is not defense. Like sponsor must demonstrate the active oversight. Stay agile. Like while implementing R2, organize should map process that principle based approach of R3 to ensure a smoother future transition. So this should be practiced. So I think so. This is end of my first topic. So I think like question answers. Shall we take it now or after the sessions? What you suggest?
Sir will be taking the questions after the session. We
Oh,
can do
thank
that,
you.
but right now the students have posted, participants have posted their questions in the chat box, so you can continue with your
Oh,
session
no
and we
worries,
can
no
take
worries.
the questions later on. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. So coming to the next topic, deviation change, control, and CAPA real world industrial scenarios. So these are really very crucial things which, as a regulatory team, as a CRO, or as a sponsor, we have to be very particular. And like coming to deviations, it is like generally nobody likes to do the mistakes, but it happens, right? So we give, that's why we are setting the timelines, we are setting the protocol, that okay, it should be done in that particular way. And in clinical trials, it is like we are dealing with the human lives. So if there is any up and down, so it should be documented. So I will just explain in some, like specifically now I just explained in those, but still I will try to explain in the word format, like some of the scenarios with you. So deviations. So what happened? So that is a deviation, right? So deviation is an department, any departure from the approved protocol, SOP, or a GXP. Hope you are aware of GXP. Like GXP consists of good clinical practice, good documentation practice. Only I will focus on to, because manufacturing is not my lookout. I'm not a manufacturer currently. So only clinical practice and documentation practice. So that consists of X as per the CRO and sponsor format. So requirement in CRO, there must be we generally we categorize it as an minor, major, or critical incidences. So just a oversight I am given over here. Clinical site used a outdated version of informed consent for 3 patients. So that is not good. Like they shouldn't have done it. They should have read it thoroughly. But they had done it now, and I observed it. And what should I do now? So I will investigate. So what I will do, I will do a root cause analysis. So found that I found that the CRA failed to verify the current version during the last monitoring visit. So I had so many tasks, so I had failed it. But one of, like, we found it afterwards, that this is a deviation. Now this is a major impact. The impact will be major. So as per these categories, major, minor, or critical, I will denote this as a major impact. This compromises patient right and data integrity, because if you are giving, that version, directly the version is changing, outdated version, and current version is, for example, inclusion criteria number 5 we had deleted in previous version, and in exclusion criteria we are adding 2 to 3 points, and patient is not aware. So that is an biasness for the patient. So what we can do? We should notify to the sponsor. I should notify to the sponsor in 24 hours. Then data from this patient must be quarantined until reconsenting occurs. Means we have to call the patient immediately and tell them, okay, these things had occurred. So what changes were there? we have to document in a very precise manner, and then we have to submit those copy with the patient also, or the participant. As per E6R3, it shouldn't be a patient, it should be a participant. So I will tell you one. So I will just complete this, and we will just discuss like one of the scenario again. So this is about the deviation. So it is what happened, and this was just one of the example which I quoted. So CAPA, corrective and preventive actions. So CAPA is a mechanism used to fix immediate problem correction and ensure it will never happens again. So that is an preventive. So CAPA, CAPA. So this, when you are be in the CRO industry, so this is very crucial. This will be always with the deviations, CAPA. These short terms will be on your tip of your tongue. So after that, a real industry scenario, bioanalytical lab equipments. You know that some of the lab equipments are there at the site, and the issue is like a series of samples were processed using the centrifuge that was 3 days past in calibration due. So as a industry, we have to calibrate our instruments on a yearly basis manner. So if it is not done, so that will be a impact, that will impact us, because the sponsor will say, okay, means was that equipment functioning or was that not functioning? That's why. So what was the corrective action? Like now, corrective is like immediate problem we have to resolve, fix the immediate problem. So retest the sample if stability allows. Use calibrated equipment. Impact assessment on previous generated data. So this we have to do it on immediate basis. So preventive action will be P stands for never happens again. So implement an automated lockout and lab software that prevents equipment use in the calibration date has passed. And there is a one more thing also we can do. It is like we can train the site teams. You know, like they should have it and they should be trained. Okay, whenever the calibrations are there, you set a frequency before a 1 month prior, and you can avoid that. So in preventive action, we can also add a retraining for the site teams. So they update the equipment management SOP to the require to a required secondary sign off on calibration log every Monday morning. So these also they can do it. Generally, it will take an hour. It will be every year, but it's better they have to schedule it every Monday. So this they can do it, and it is very challenging, but we can try a chance to train them in this manner. So coming to change control or the controlled evaluation. So in a CRO or sponsor, you cannot simply change a process because it's better. Any change must be evaluated for its impact on the validated status of the study or system. Like the real industry scenario, transition to the eTMF. So this is a real industry. Like we are transitioning now. So currently the sponsor was using the hard copies of the, like we used to maintain the hard copies, trial master files this much big. Like there are around 10 files which I we used to maintain it. So the change, like moving from a paper based trial master file to an electronic system like the eTMF mid study. Turing assessment: how will data be migrated without loss? Are the CRO and a CRO and a sponsor trained on the new interface? Does the new system meet 21 CRF Part A requirement? So there is like there are requirements of 21 CRF Part 11. On that basis only our TMF, all the systems, the EDC are being developed and those data are captured. If that particular system is not compliant to 21 CRA part 11, then it is not valid. That 21 CRF, you can find it on the FDA website or on the search box, search engine. So implementation plan, run a pilot phase with one study site before a full scale rollout across all global sites. So for the better understanding that, from means now it is a direct change. Like we had everything paper, we have to scan everything and we have to upload in the system. So that might be a challenge for them, for all of us. So one site we can target, we can do a pilot study or pilot phase. And if they are not facing any issues, we are not facing any issues, then go ahead to implement for all of the studies. So that is a change control. So if we require that change, okay, that it should be there, then only. So after that, the interconnected quality loop. So it is a vital to show how these three pillars interact. A deviation occurred triggers by CAPA, and the CAPA might require a change control to presently fix a broken process. So this will be a very good thing you can have it with you, like trigger feature like trigger a deviation, unplanned event or error, then kappa result of the trend or major deviation, then change control planned improvement or necessity, timing like reactive after the fact, reactive fixing or proactive preventing, kappa, then proactive before implementation, goals documentation and impact assessment, root kappa will be root cause estimation, and risk management and transition. So before that, I will just tell you, I will share one of my just a moment. So what happens, there's a one scenario, uh, like uh, the the patient visit was on 3rd of April, but he visited site on 10th April, and as per protocol, plus minus 2 days is permitted. So now what should be done? So as a CRA, what I need to do? So first I will identify, okay, it is an deviation. It is a PD, protocol deviation. So how many days? Like it should, the visit should have occurred on 3rd, but that was a max, including 2 days. But it has occurred on 10, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So total 7 days PD. 7 days visit window PD has occurred. And after that, I also observe, okay, the reason. Now I want the reason for that. Or the means what was the root cause? So root cause was patient told due to personal reason he was unable to visit the site. So I identified the root cause. Now what I will do, I will categorize. I need to update in my system. So I will categorize it as in what are in PDs. We have three formats like major, minor, and sorry, and critical. So I don't think so. I can see your chats. Just a moment, if I can. No worries. I will just continue because it will be little time consuming. So what do you think? I mean, you can just give me a thumbs up actually if you think it is an minor. If you think it is a minor, you can just give me a thumbs up. Do we have that provision, right? So you can check in the, there is smiley face on the this thing. You can just give a thumbs up if you feel that that will be a minor thing. That was minor PD.
Requesting participants to kindly be interactive. Speaker is asking about something, so kindly be interactive and give the thumbs up sign to the questions that he's asking.
Uh, Shubhangi, are you able to see like anybody's thumbs up? Because
Yeah,
so
yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
like I'm not able to see that.
The participants
Okay,
are
great, great,
actually
great.
giving that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, okay. And you can give a heart sign if you feel that is a major. It can be should be a major deviation.
So we are having
Okay,
the
Maxima.
yeah.
Yeah. So one of the comment I got that is it is they are stating it is as a critical PD. Good. Uh, as somebody feels it like as a major, so I want to see a heart sign in that. So means if that is in that smileys you can see the thumbs up was for minor, heart was for heart was for critical, and you can use a laughing smile for this thing, minor one or a critical one. So I think so maximum of you think it is an major finding, right? So I would like to tell you that it depends wholesale on the PDNC, like or PD management tracker or PD management platform, the PD management plan. So as per me, as per the sponsor suggested, so I had captured this as a minors. They are telling, okay, this can be captured because the patient is not coming, but he came, and that we can consider as a minor. So it is a subjective actually. It whole soul depends on PD management, PD management plan as recommended by the sponsor. So always, like whenever you go in an industry, in CRO industry or a sponsor, never ever take your decision. Just you can tell them now what how we had discussed. Like whatever you feel, you are just given a thumbs up or a heart sign or wrote it as a critical. But if that study belongs to a oncology study, so oncology study are so critical that they will tell you if one day PD means one day deviation also is not permeable, they will tell to screen fail the patient, and this will go in a critical finding, not also major. So it depends on the study. It depends on the like I will tell you, like depends on study and protocol and the sponsor in which they want to categorize. The one of the sponsor I had interacted, so idea means they classified as in a very unique way. Like it was, if I remember, it was accepted and unaccepted. So those terminologies also given by the sponsor. So generally, for example, now I am drawing this as an minor PD. So now I have to do a CAPA. So I given the categorize this as a minor PD. Okay. After that, my CAPA will be CA and PA. So CAPA will be what correctly I will tell. Okay, now he has come. So train when like on upcoming visit, train the site team, sorry, train the subject to adhere to the protocol timings to avoid further delay in upcoming visits. So this is my CAPA. So in preventive action, so this I found out like corrective I'm doing it. So I'm telling them you counsel it. So preventive action, I will tell them to counsel subject on above. So this is how we can just discuss and write it. And there should always be a start and stop date. Sorry, one more thing I missed. To notify the PD to ethics committee, because we should notify each and everything to the ethics committee. So there are like we have the forms in the systems and everything where these PDs are recorded, where we record it as per the category like major, minor, and we write the preventive and corrective actions and preventive actions, with including all the start and stop dates. So hope this was one of the thing. Do you? Okay, I think I should use one more example. So what happened? It was with me. So generally, we give patient-facing materials. So we had given a subject a tablet. So in that, what happened? So each participant has individual pin. So what happened over here in my case, that two subjects like patient number two came, and inadvertently the data was entered in patient number three. So this became a quality issue, because means ultimately somebody else data we are filling in somebody else thing. So we done a root cause analysis, we implemented, we trained the site, and we notified the PD, sorry, the QI to EC. So what happened over here? So quality issue we identified by the clinical trial manager, that in the system they observed it and they marked it. Okay, that this thing has occurred. So we gone for root cause analysis and we identified that the both the subjects were having the same pin, because without the pin they can't access it, and they had same pin because subjects sometimes are not that literate, and my site had belonged to one of the distinct state in Jaipur. Means it was outskirts, so they were illiterate, and the SE used to tell them, okay, whatever pin you want to set it, you set it. So both the participant had set the pin as 1234, and the SC was in that hurry that he opened somebody else, and that pin got entered, and that other visit, and he entered the data in that system. So that was really not good, and we were struggling with our all the sponsors were behind us. So we found out that okay, the pin were same, so we requested to change the pins. After that, site staff was trained, and it was notified, like, and we notified it to the ethics committee. So these things occurred, and we ensured that they are not doing in for same thing for the other patients. So this we had took as an PD to the EC and to the sponsor. So coming back to the session. So again over here, like now, just bear with me for just for more half an hour. So this is an last presentation which I have for you all today. So audit documentation, writing effective audit reports, and CAPA. So audit documentations, like audit report, is an more than just a summary. It is an legal record of oversight where it is an internal process audit, a vendor audit, or a site audit like GCP, GLP, GMP. The report must be observative, objective, evidence based, and actionable. So whenever, like, we also means the institution also get audited, so we get the certificates like NAC or NABA or those. So those also we means there are surprise means those, sorry, those are certifications, but we get surprise audit from the PCI, or how the things are going on smoothly. So in that manner, clinical trials also have the audits, the regulatory, and we have to, the sponsor feels okay that particular site is recruiting high number of patients, so kindly conduct audit. Sometimes the government will feel okay, so this particular center has too many trials, whether they are doing it very correctly or not, whether they have the proper staff or not, to ensure that they will conduct the audit. So audit can be internal, external, from the sponsor and from the regulatory, anything. So audit can be done by anybody whoever wish, but the audit reports, when you are summarizing, it is in legal record. So it should have all the oversights like internal process audit, vendor audit, site audit, and everything. So it should have report must have objective, evidence based, and actionables. So anatomy of an effective audit report. So audit report must be written with assumption that the regulatory inspector, FDA, EMA, MHRA will read it 2 years from now. So in that particular way, we have to be write the report. We have to write the report. So key components should consist of executive summary, a high level overview of management and sponsors, then audit scope and criteria, what was checked, example protocol, CRA part level, and what was not due to time constraint, so that they should mention it very thoroughly. And audits are always, auditors come on independent basis. They are, means they are not, they will not belong to anybody. If the sponsor is also conducting the audit, but the auditor has that authority to find out the means the what we can say, the gaps of that particular sponsor also. After that, the observation categorizes, like categorize as critical, major, minor, and evidence. So this we are finding like potential or impact the risk to the patient safety and data integrity. So generally, whenever the audits are happening, so we generally wish that there shouldn't be any critical finding and also major finding. Major is significant deviation from SOP or like E6R3, but not an immediate safety risk. So it is acceptable, but major should, but still it shouldn't be there. Then minor, like isolated administrative errors, so which are generally, you know, that nobody's 100% perfect, so that we should document in that minor reports, minor errors. Evidence, like okay, reference specific subject IDs. Then because evidences are never shared in or in captured in the TMFs, so that we need to check whether that particular subject ID was there or not, or that document Aadhaar card was there or not, time stamp was there or not. So there is one pro tip, a tip from my end. Avoid emotive language, like instead of the investigator was careless, write the investigator failed to document the temperature log for 3 consecutive days. Like we have to be very particular when you write an audit report. So many of us can be auditor also in future, like after a sort of experience and everything. So just because it will in regulatory, like it will be done by, it will be taken care by the regulatory authorities. So they will review it whenever the trial, after the trial is end, after trial end also, then they will open it also, they want to check it, they can do it, because that is a regulatory authority. So executive summary should be there. Audit scope and criteria should be mentioned. So on what basis observation should be categorized into four things: critical, major, minor, and evidence. So pro tip, like use a very emotive language. It shouldn't hurt, because the, the investigators are who are well qualified, they are expert in their fields, and if they see this terms like he's a careless and everything, so he will get, because he has the OPD. You won't believe, like when I was at AIMS Bhubaneswar, the OPD, there are around 500 in a day, or in just one department. So like that, there are around 14 to 15 departments in a day, 515. So you can assume like there are around 5,000 patients just roaming here and there for their getting treated. So that's why we have to be very specific when we jot the words in that audit reports. So writing findings like CER method. To ensure the clarity and avoid pushback from the audited party, use the CER framework for every finding, like conditions, what was actually found, the error, evidence, what specific data points supported this, requirement, what regulations and SOPs was violated, the rule. So that's why condition, evidence, requirements. Example condition: informed consent was missing for subject 102. Evidence: file review of the investigator site file ISF on October 12, 25. Requirement: ICH E6R2 section 4.8. So whenever, like, we have to be very particular, means the auditors are that particular, they will write everything CER format. Informed consent was missing, evidence was there from that particular site file, we found that okay, this was not there, it was not present. And requirement, so as per requirement it should be there, E6R2 and E6R3, but it was not there, and which section is also they are mentioning it. So this, their audit reports are so specific, because the auditors get paid for on our basis, which the auditor has shared with me. So that person experience I am sharing with you. So auditor has to find out something or the other. If they are not finding out, they will question on the auditor, like what audit you had done. So if they will find nothing, so that audit is generally biased audit. So they will remove something. If your data is clean, for that also they will question you how the data can be so clean. If the data is bad, they will tell how the data is so bad. If the data is average, like both clean and not, I mean, it's at okay, like in between. So they will tell you like why it is not good. So those terms are of the auditors, but generally they will only emphasize on critical, major, minor evidences. So minor and evidences are fine, but the audit shouldn't be in a critical and majors. So again, like I'm just going into practical manner. So again, now hope this is CER is acceptable. So about audit to CAPA life cycle. Just a moment. So an audit finding is only useful if the lead is a permanent fix. In the CRO, the auditee, the department for a site being audited, typically processes the CAPA by auditor, must approve it. CAPA must. So what happens in general? So whenever the what we say, the audit occurs. So after audit, so there are specific timelines given to them, like within 14 working days the auditor has to submit his full report. So the kappa is there. If you find any minor evidence like this, for example, the ICH-GCP was not there, evidence means the minor findings, something was not placed, some EC was not notified, So they will discuss their comments with the CRA and the clinical trial managers, and they will get the CAPAs, like real industry scenario, like data integrity. The finding during the bioanalytical lab audit, it was discovered that analytics shared login credentials for the LCMS or MS system. Corrective. Reset all passwords and revoke shared system, reward shared access immediately. So this, the root cause analysis, the IT department has a 48 hours lag in issuing new account. So senior analysts share there to avoid project delay. What is prevent like CAPA? Update IT onboarding SOP to guarantee credential within 4 hours. Install biometric or individual badge swipe access to the lab terminals. So this is like a very particular example about the audit to CAPA life cycle. So generally this we do for every aspect, like for every, like whatever the previous slide also I had that finding. So for that also they will ask us the root cause and the CAPA. So measures of CAPA effectiveness. A common mistake in a CRO is closing a CAPA as soon as training is done. Effectiveness checks are mandatory. Wait and see period. After implementing a change, schedule a follow-up 3 to 4 months later. Then success matrix. If CAPA was staff training, the effectiveness check should confirm zero reoccurrence of the specific error in the following quarter. So it goes on, like like it is not immediately it should be closed. So it goes on. They will ask us, okay, hope these things are not repeating again. Means once it is they had seen it, so they will uh, point you like for 2 to 3 months to be on the safer side, because you'll be dealing with the subjects or the participants. To for their sake, these reports are to be written in this particular format. So tips of the presentations, the tips of the transparency should be there. Then sponsor reporting, the highlight the contractual timeline in the audit summary with the sponsor. Alcoa principle install all audit documentations are follow Alcoa plus plus should be followed. So I think we can we are end and we can just uh, do the Q&A answer session. I will stop sharing my screen. Hope I in time. Like yeah, we can, because 15 minutes we can have the discussion
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
sure, sir.
for the question answers.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kamble, sir, for the insightful and engaging session. We truly appreciate the time and knowledge you have shared with us today. Now, we would like to open the forum for our audience to post their questions in the chat box or raise your hand. I will be taking the questions on your behalf. So, Dr. Kamble, sir, I request you to kindly address these questions. We have some of the questions in the chat box. So, our first question is from the Umer Parai. What happens if bioequivalence fails but dissolution is acceptable?
Sorry, it happens. Sanket, your voice is a little bit disturbance
Um,
actually. I'm not able to hear you very clearly.
yes. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, now you're audible. Yeah, what happens? Yeah, I can just
So,
have
sir,
that.
the question,
Yeah. The bio. What happens if the
yes.
bioequivalence
So, question
fails
is
but
that
dissolution is acceptable? So frankly speaking,
acceptable?
like
Yeah.
yeah. So frankly speaking, like we don't have any of these things Umar. So if the bioequivalence fails or but the dissolution is accepted, means here we are directly dealing with the subjects. Means we don't have any instrument. Means generally we are not dealing with any sort of instruments over here in a CRO. So we generally do for like for the patient benefits. So means it will be more applicable for analytical or those things who are dealing with the what we can say uh, phase zero studies where the participants means we have to check the PK/PD. So in that will be acceptable for that this question, because dissolution ultimately we have to do it priorly, means after the drug is means the dissolution we are checking, I think so, of the actual formulation, but here we are withdrawing the drug from the IVs. So this question, I think so, I am not that means I don't think this is my domain to answer. To be more specific, sir, I think so. Rohit Shendge, sir, beyond having a degree and certification, what are the
Yeah,
specific,
degree and certification.
yeah, degree and certification, what are the specific skills that makes a candidate truly stand out as a role at a top CRO life like Seniors Health? Uh, Very good question, actually, but uh, certifications, if you wish, means how generally you can have always add-ons. For example, if you opt for generally Rohit, no, there are degrees is fine, like M.Pharm, B.Pharm is more than enough. But if you want, if you wish, if you want to get more sort of practical knowledge about the clinical research, you can do a certification courses in PG diploma in clinical research. So that will give you a glance about what actually it works, how the actual scenarios are there. And after that, and about the CR, like top CRO, generally it is like, frankly speaking, so sorry.
Dr.
So I
Kamble, you're
just,
muted. Yeah, please go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, no, there is a background noise, so I just muted myself.
No problem, sir. Please go ahead.
So
No
I
problem,
will
sir.
just read again, like, so beyond having a degree. So as I told you, one is PG diploma in clinical research. So clinical research has various domains. So it is like clinical operations. I'm just adding in the chat. Then mm, CDM. After that, regulatory, medical writing. So these are some. So you can also be a programmer. Also, if you want, like, if you're more good in statistics, so you can also have a certification in biostat. Generally we have this, but if you want that certifications, then biostatistics also is a good thing. And PG diploma is there. It means generally we PG means certification in uh, clinical research. But again, it is a vast industry. Like sometime you will feel you want to be in a writing, then again you will feel okay you want to be in regulatory. So there are, you have to be in industry, and it takes, like, the CROs, top CROs also take the candidates, freshers. You have to apply on their portal, like career portals are there for every system. Like I will just share you one of the, for best thing you can do is, for any of the favorite company or favorite CRO which you wish, so you can just go on that and go in the careers. Just a moment. So careers in that will be, you can apply it, and they generally, if you feel you are suitable for that role, you can place your resume in that particular section. Hope I am justifying, Rohit, to your clarity, your question. From Kalyani, I guess, for ETD submissions, do companies expect
Submissions.
freshers to know the software beforehand? Or no, like, or on job? Also, are there any ETD, ECTD? No. So generally, for regulatory submissions, we have a Sugam portal. Tory means whatever India for DCGI, we have Sugam portal. So where we generally we do it, we get the manuals over there. Nothing, no specific courses are there. Freshers can be taken depending upon the company, and means what means generally you take, if you, it means is not, it is fine, like just you have some basic idea, that's it, because ultimately without training they won't allow you to access any of the systems in industry scenario. Then again, Nikita Rathod, how does the CRO handle communication with regulatory authorities? So there are, Nikita, there are two aspects every time. So if CRO while awarding, so generally we use a word as award, means CRO awards, the sponsor awards a trial to a particular CRO. So it is like there are bifurcation, means segments. For for example, Sun Pharma can just give clinical operations to seniors. Sun Pharma can give that same regulatory document, regulatory authority, mean communications to Parexel or to Premier Research. So that depends. So generally, just to be on focus, like how to handle, how does they handle? So if they are telling, sometimes the sponsor does it on their own. They have their own regulatory body, and they do it on their own. So if they are awarding everything to a particular CRO, then CRO has the access to all the sponsor related events, Sugam portals, to the regulatory submission guidelines, everything. So just the sponsor need to share it on their share drive. The sponsor, the senior means the CRO team will take it and they will submit in the timely manner. So it depends on the chart and upon what tasks are assigned by a CRO. So it is very easy because CRO means when it is awarded, everybody is aware. Like the sponsor is aware, the regulatory team is aware about, like they will be the CRO. So every communication sponsor is marked and CRO is there and they can do all the accesses. So that is a very common thing actually. So CRO does it, handles it communications. Then Rohini, sir, many CAPAs are often concluded with retraining as corrective action. However, regulator frequently criticize that as a weak response. It is your experience at a global zero. How do you distinguish between a genius human slip and systematic process failure that requires a more complex structural change? Rohini, like it is a very good question actually, but frankly speaking, you be in a multinational or in any of the global thing, wherever you be, you are going to face a site means the site, we have to train everything, means we are everything to them frankly speaking. So the training, sometimes training is required, like because whenever we randomize the first patient, we do a training, SIV, we do it, site investigator meeting, investigator visit, site initiation visit. So we train the site team and the PI, but still they call us, Namit, now we are randomizing the first patient, just tell us how to do it. So it is not like, means you be from a small CRO or from a global sponsor or a Indian sponsor. you are going to face the same sites. All the sites are same actually in India. Means who are doing the trials for MNCs, they are same, and those are doing for Indian CROs or Indian sponsors, they are also same. So our experience means, as per me, it is like you have to train them like a child. That's it. And you have to be very on your, means your protocol should be on the tip of your tongues, or you should tell them like genuinely, okay, what is there. The process failure doesn't occur because ultimately one site or one site coordinator generally deals with around 2 to 3 studies. And generally he has a faith on a CRA that okay, if I have to randomize, okay, Namit will be there or some other CRA will be there, that they will guide me on that particular day, like that. So this is how the real scenarios are there. Like means this is very genuine question, but practically it is not possible. So practically we have to be very patient with the site team, because ultimately if they will not work, we are not will not get the patients. So that's why, so systematic process failure, and like it is there, but it is, we have to trust the process, and we have to train them, and we have to do those things. So Rohini, like this is acceptable. Like when you come to industry, you will find the very true or the clear picture of the kappas and everything, like how we do it. Because generally, as I told you in my slides also, I can't take decisions on my own, means where I was explaining the word. So I have to rely on my project manager or my clinical trial manager. Okay, this kappa is there, then first integral part will be there, it will be a training. We have to train them in any how condition, like that. So that is not a failure, actually it is a good thing that okay, we identified it and we are training them systematically. Hope Rohini, I'm clarifying that doubt.
Yes, sir.
Then,
Yes, sir.
yeah, thank you. Then Anushka, for freshers aiming to build a strong career in regulatory affairs or clinical research in top CROs like CROs, what specific documentation skills? Uh, Actually, as I told you, like if you want to be in a CRO, if you wish, generally our means master's degrees are subsiding, but for your handshake a 6 months basic course you can have for a certification. They can just train you on what means the actually, because now you are just in academic phase. So the PG diploma will help you in that format, that you will get some practical knowledge. So that is important. And if for regulatory affairs, the one thing I had in start only I had told you that you need to be very thorough with NDCT rules 2019 and 2026, because everything will come from that. So softwares are not in that, means software generally it differs to sponsor and CRO to CRO. So software you don't need to worry. The whenever you get hired, get placed in a particular sponsor or a CRO, they will train you specifically for that their softwares. And eventually, like in my career, like I had around more than 7 to 8 softwares I had handled. And in current, like for and you want like for regulatory affairs, you can just go for regulatory. I will just type in the regulatory Sugam portal guidelines. You can refer it. Anushka, you can refer Sugam portal guidelines. So how that system will work and everything, because you will not have directly the access to it, like that. Skills. Soft skills already means they are there. Like means this, uh, uh, like this how sessions I am delivering. So practical interactions with the ongoing field, like whoever are there in current CRO, so they can help you out with the practical. Generally, like it is like first you need to be in the industry, so have the NDCT rules mugged up. Afterwards, the some basic, if you want, means the PG diploma if you wish, it's not mandatory. If you are if you can convince the recruiter, okay, I am means I don't need any certification because I had all the things in me, like NDCTs I know, I know how the submission process is and everything. So that's it. So generally, being a fresher, that I mean, they will not expect more from you all. Coming from M-Farm background, which areas of global regulations like CMC, clinical and post-marketing do you think the most challenging for the student to a master in their first year? Coming from an M-Farm background, which areas of global regulations like clinical post-market do you think is the most challenging for the student to master? Hmm. Actually, again, I told means I will Rohini. I would like to tell you that our industry is very big. So if you want to identify now only, you can just select. Means it is very challenging because after my first job, it's my experience. I was a medical writer and I thought that I want to change my domain because medical writing sometimes need very patience, very good vocabulary, and you should be calm hearted, you should think a lot, you should read a lot, like that. So what thing it is there? Student. So generally you can decide your field now. I think better than from first year, you first focus on your projects and everything, and later you can decide whether you want to be in which domain. Like as I mentioned, some of the clinical research, like pharmacovigilance is also one of the PV. So our AI is now a best guide for us. Means teachers are almost always there, but still, if you wish, you can't find a good mentor or something, you can just browse on the Chat GPT or AI browsers. But generally, I will recommend just focus now on your current degree completion, and some add-on trainings are free of trainings are there on. I will share that link also. That is a if you wish that you can do it. What is that? C CRA. I will share this afterwards. Actually, I will just take your questions first, and I will share afterwards with this thing. Challenging. Actually, no challenge. Actually, you just focus currently on your project and everything. Ultimately, after you decide like where you have to be, so then we can just decide like what you want to be, how you want to explore, like that. All the participants required to attempt a quiz. Oh, okay. So that is not for me. Pooja's question: beside just knowing the module, which E, ETD, CTD publication software like should be student try to learn to get demo or before an interview? No need actually as such. If you wish you are doing it, you can do it, Pooja. But like ultimately, every company has its own modules or own softwares. So how can you means how would you know that beforehand, like that? So if you're a fresher, then just means as I told you, just be thorough with your NDCT rules, be thorough with the regulatory documentations, and about your core project and everything. So after that, this software is ultimately come. Yeah,
So we are at
yeah,
the end
Pooja.
of the question and answers.
Yeah, actually, and actually, loud last
Yeah.
like thank you, sir. Anushka has only message like thank you, sir.
Yes. So thank you everyone for your questions and active participation. I hope we have tried to identify all the queries. So before we conclude, a quick note regarding attendance, which I give the cue. that I request all the participants to kindly turn on their web cameras for a moment so that we can capture the attendance. Further, I would again like to thank our speaker, Dr. Kamble, for being the speaker for our today's webinar series. Now, I would like to request our organizing team to kindly share the e-certificate on this virtual platform with our respected speaker as a token of our appreciation. Thank you, Dr. Kamble, sir.
Thank you, Sanket. Like,
Now, moving towards the conclusion, I would like to present the vote of thanks. So it is my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks for today's highly informative and enriching session. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Namit Kamble, for delivering this such a comprehensive and insightful session. Your expert explanation on deviation change control and CAPA through real industry scenario, along with audit documentation and writing effective audit reports and CAPA, and the latest ICH-GCP E6 updates, which real-world implementation has greatly enhanced our practical understanding of regulatory affairs. Your ability to connect theoretical concepts with real-world industry practice has made this session extremely valuable and engaging for all of us. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to the IQAC of Dr. D.Y. Patil Pratishthan's Dr. D.Y. Patil College of Pharmacy, Akurdi, Pune, for organizing this national webinar series on regulatory affairs and providing an excellent platform for learning. A special thanks to the Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India for their support and collaboration in making this session possible. I would also like to acknowledge the dedication efforts of the organizing team and the technical staff whose seamless coordination ensured the success of this webinar. Last but not least, I extend my sincere thanks to all the participants for the enthusiastic presence and active participation, which truly added value to this session. With this, we conclude today's session, and thank you once again, all of you. Lastly, I request all the participants to kindly fill out the feedback form and attempt the quiz. The links will the links are already shared in the chat box of WhatsApp and YouTube chat. I request everyone to kindly start their web cameras for the group photo. Thank you all. So hereby we declare the session of webinar for today's comes to an end. Have a good day. Thank you.
thank
Thank
you. Have a nice day.